came out when I was 28. Was like working towards telling my parents, and I told my sister, and then I just decided to like tell my dad first, and so I wrote him this letter saying, you know, that I was like 90% sure or 70 or 80% sure that I was gay. And then after several months, I decided to tell my mother as well, and the first they called me up, the first thing my father said to me, I thought you were only 80% sure. What happened to the 20%?
I've been out since I was 15, and I've had it really easy in a lot of ways. My father's, two of his brothers were either queer or genderqueer, so they kind of broke the mold for me.
I didn't really officially come out to anyone until I was 33, but I still didn't have plans to tell my parents. My parents were visiting for my daughter's birthday, and it occurred to me to mention that I think someone else in our family might be gay, but it's a young person. And I said, if this person comes out to you one day, you can't treat them any differently. And they're, oh, we would never. I'm like, I think you might. And my mom, out of the blue, goes, are you coming out? And I was like, burst into tears. Like I was like, I finally have this opportunity to tell them, and I don't even have to say the words.
Part of the impetus of me really just finally just saying this is who I am is because my parents were offering to help me financially buy a condo, my first home, and I just wanted them to know that, I said, I want you to know that, you know, this is who I am, and so I'll totally understand if you don't feel comfortable, you know, assisting me financially. And they said, you know, you're our son. We wouldn't think of not doing it.
I think it's having the courage to open yourself up, to see a different perspective, a different point of view, because the way I live is different from others.
I love it when people say to me, they're like, I'm gonna ask you a question that's probably offensive to you. I'm like, great, go for it. I'm like, something useful will probably come out of that moment.
I came in, like I said, in '86, and when I first came to the patent office, I wasn't technically out. Even though I was out to friends at work, I just didn't feel comfortable in being out to my supervisor. While I was working for him, there was a hate crime and there was a demonstration. I went to that demonstration and I happened to be, there were news cameras and I happened to be on TV. I didn't know that at the time, but so the next day when I went to work, my supervisor, you know, came up to me and he said, I saw you on TV. And I thought, oh. And then he said, it was good what you did. So I mean, I've often been surprised.
When they offered me the job, I said, this is the only condition. I'm getting married, so I have to go down to Hampton Roads for this week, and this is going to be our honeymoon, and everything is scheduled and paid for. So my supervisor is like, oh, of course, you know, so we'll give you the week off. And, you know, everybody kind of talked around it, but it made me feel really comfortable. And somehow the word got around. And
you say my wife once, and people are like,
right.
I got that.
Yeah, it's like, well, people don't want to ask if you're single or you're married, but they kind of ask around that, and then you find the opportunity to say it. And then, you know, one day I heard a knock on the door, and there's my coworkers with a big cake to congratulate me for my wedding.
That's awesome.
So those, you know, that's the moment where you feel so much lighter. It's like, huh.
Yeah, the first time I actually got involved with Lambda PTO was actually contacting you about one of my incidents. You kind of mentored me a little bit, and I became a faithful member of Lambda. Kind of passing on the torch. I think Lambda is a great organization for USPTO.
One of my uncles, he developed HIV when I was 10 or 11. And he passed away. I had always hung out with him and his partner, but to be honest, like, I was a kid, so I just assumed that they were roommates. One day we were hanging out in the basement playing pool, and my sister asked him why he lived with my Uncle Steve, and Jim said, because I love him. This light bulb went off in my head, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I ran up the stairs and I said, Dad, Steven's gay. And he was like, 10-4.
So where were you?
I was getting ready to go stand up paddleboarding in Annapolis, Maryland with a friend of mine. And we pulled into the parking lot right before they made the announcement, and he drives a Jeep, so he unzipped all his windows and turned the radio up in the parking lot, and we all just kind of stood around, the kids and the two of us, and just listened to Obama, in his speech in the Rose Garden, and it was a huge step forward, and it was so great.
When I heard about the Supreme Court decision, I was actually in the Arlington County building permits office. My fiance and I were building a new home, and I was watching the TV waiting to pick up my permit, and we got the decision, and I started crying.
That Friday we were at Busch Gardens. I remember Michelle went into the bathroom. While I was waiting outside, I got the text message saying, breaking news. And so when she came out, I had the text message ready.
It's just amazing to think I never would have thought, growing up, that this would have been available to me. And yes, so we were married in December.
The USPTO is proud of its diverse workforce and recognizes the crucial role our lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender employees play in accomplishing our mission every day. In recognizing the LGBT community, it is important to reflect upon the progress that occurs as we share significant moments together. While historic Supreme Court rulings don't happen every day, meaningful conversations can. By sharing and listening, we make USPTO even more welcoming and inclusive, and a place where all employees feel respected and valued.